So here we have the collection of MIDI files or MIDI clips. Let's have a look at those. As you can see, they're all on one note, which is C3. As I go through each one of these, we can see that. Here's the rack, and in the rack there are a number of channels with different kind of scale devices. Because we've only got a single note coming in, essentially the scale devices are all working on what we will refer to as the C line. So that's the incoming line. So we have C. Notice here that the octave has changed, so it's gone up one octave. So in the first one, it's at 0. In the second one, it's at 12. This one's the G, and so on. So you can kind of control the different sort of pitches that are coming in. Now, here, I've got these three. Oops, don't want to change the order. Here, where I've got these three, they form a chord, and you can see that just here if you sort of look really carefully. So these form a chord. Now, what you then have here is that every time the chain selector, which is this blue line up here, moves to this particular point, you'll output 3 notes. Now, obviously, it can be 1 note, it can be 2 notes, 3 notes, or as many notes as you want. So what we also see here is the capacity not only to play kind of like a single line, but to also sort of infer other kind of sort of harmonic kind of scale-based playing inside it as well. And here is the macro that controls the scale, the chain selector. So here's the macro that controls the chain selector. So the automation for these is basically inside the clip. Let me just open this up a little bit so we can see it. So the automation is here, as you can see, that's reading out number 7. This one here is reading out number 5, and so on. So when we get to the very top of the order, there is no automation. So basically that's all automation off, which takes you all the way back to the beginning. So let's listen to it without the follow actions engaged. So when we look at the follow actions, essentially everything is being set to any. But if we wanted to, we could set sort of 2 types of action. So it could be repeat itself or do something else. So that's the important thing to kind of recognize there. So let's get going. Let's have a listen to this. Okay, so some of the other stuff that you can do with this sort of idea is also to mute some of the rack channels. So I'm just going to do this, not randomly, but I'm going to just try and mute a couple out. Let's have a listen to those. So you can do this to sort of insert sort of spaces. So if a pattern feels too busy, then you can actually do that. So we're not sort of stuck to just doing what we've kind of prepared. We can also prepare it and then also adjust it on the fly. You can do it on the fly. You can do it in a kind of more kind of deliberate sort of approach to it and identify particular places of interest.